What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Not Quite Mint. I'm Tom.
And I'm Rich, and we are definitely not quite mint.
And today we are doing our key show for the 24th of February 2020. So shall we get into this, Rich?
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into it. Welcome back, guys, and thanks ever so much for joining us. This is our weekly key show for the 24th of February. Basically, we're just going to go through, and as we've been doing it the last couple of weeks, we are just going to try and I'm going to talk about my keys and notables, Tommy's as well. I'm going to see if we've got any matchups along the way, and obviously, you guys let us know in the comments down below what you think and what your keys are. Also, guys, do make sure that if you are not subscribed, do the old subscribe button down below. Do obviously smash that like button. And, of course, hit that dingly bell so that you don't miss any of the Not Quite Mint sort of videos and stuff.
Yeah. And feel free to head over to notquitemint.com and sign up to our mailing list so you get yourself some cheeky discounts on the comic books that I've got going on the website. And also, we are very live on Instagram and Facebook, so feel free to follow us over there. Shall we get into these notables then, Rich? Do you want to start with yours, or shall I start with mine?
Oh, I don't know. What do
we need a coin toss, don't we? Like a
yeah, we can't. We should have like an animated coin toss or something. But then again, it speaks, wouldn't it? But yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll start off.
Go on then.
Because we don't want to wrap it up too much. So my first pick is probably a little known book called Two Moons. Now this book is obviously in India, I believe. Is it coming from? Is this Aftershock or Image? Is this an Image one?
Do you know what? I thought it was Aftershock, and then if you look, if I'm just looking a bit closer at the thing, it is Image. You are right.
Yeah, it is Image. So this one interests me purely because it's not. It is obviously a first issue of an independent, but it's more the story about it. It's basically set during the American Civil War, and it follows our protagonist, obviously the main character that you can see. I'd assume up on the cover there. He's basically a chap of India, like sort of American Indian heritage. So who's got obviously, deep roots in like sort of like shamanic sort of rituals and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be quite a dark, kind of gritty horror kind of book, which obviously I kind of like. But that historical element to the Civil War, which I'm quite interested, having visited Gettysburg in America and things like that, and seeing the battlefields and stuff like that when I was younger. It's one of those things that really sort of like sits in me. So I think it could tick a hell of a lot of boxes for me and hopefully some other people as well.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. I mean, I read the title and I thought, is this about like people doing Moonies? Two people bent over doing some Moonies?
Not quite. Not quite.
Sequel, Full Moon. Two Moons, sequel, Full Moon.
But yeah. But yeah, so this is a lot darker than that, and not quite. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as funny as your kind of interpretation, sadly, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I quite fancy reading it because you basically just sold it to me. Like I didn't realize that it was about the old American Civil War and stuff, so I quite like the idea of that. So I might pick it up and try it because I think was it Sea of Sorrows that we had as a pick once that you sold to me. And I really enjoyed that as a first issue. I actually didn't go further than issue 2 because I forgot about it. There's so much other stuff to read, but yeah, I think this one would be worth giving a crack anyway. Not sure it would make my top picks, but I mean,
it was a bit of a standout for me. I mean, as I say, it isn't a top pick; it's a notable. So
yes, of course.
But this is one that I think if people are sort of like looking for something a little bit out of the ordinary, maybe this is sort of something that might, hopefully, from what I can understand, it might be something that's really interesting for people. That's what I think.
Nice. Yeah.
Right then, Tom, what about you, mate?
Okay, so my I've got two notables because I'm selfish and I need more airtime. So my first notable is a reprint of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ranger Slayer issue 1, and it is a reprint of the Dan Mora commission he did for somebody where they just decided to put it on a cover, and it's limited to 300 copies, and it should have come out at New York Comic Con. So for me, it's a notable just because it's absolutely stunning as a piece of artwork. And I personally would love to have got my fingers on this, but I mean, 300 copies, I very much doubt I'll ever see one. But never mind. I mean, it's a very nice piece of artwork, and I love Dan Mora. I mean, I think I've said it a million times on the show, but yeah, I kind of like the idea of this one. So that was my first notable this week.
Okay, nice. Well, my second notable is a little bit more kind of like straightforward, and mainly because like basically it's the US Agent issue 3, and I think it's been teased a couple for quite a while that there's going to be a first appearance of the new US Agent, and I think it's a guy called somebody Manning. I haven't obviously been reading the books, but I think we are hitting a point, I think, on the 16th of March now, where we're going to be getting Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, and it just makes me wonder whether or not, because I think it's been rumored that US Agent's going to appear in that series, and it just makes me wonder, with this being, you know, a first appearance of that, and obviously a lot of people are starting to, you know, start anticipating obviously the finale of obviously WandaVision, and they're going to be looking forward to the next one. And I just think this is just one of those ones that sort of captures that kind of mood, really, with it being about US Agent, really. So it just sort of was one of those ones where it has got that first appearance key, but it wouldn't be one necessarily that I'd be like saying, oh yeah, this is going to be the best book ever, but it might be one of those like sort of sleeper issues, depending on what happens with US Agent in the future with the MCU and so on and so forth.
See, I don't really know much about the US Agent as a character. Like, is he just a poor man's Captain America? Like, I don't really know much about him apart from the fact that he wears a similar outfit. I don't know if he does now, but he used to wear a very similar outfit. And I think he'd been in the Thunderbolts at some point.
Yeah, so I think what it was some kind of a thing where after Steve Rogers had kind of like his time had came to an end. I'm not sure if it was at the point when he was, you know, dead or whatever, but when Captain America was not, you know, sort of fitting in with everybody else, whether it was with SHIELD or whoever, I'm not 100% certain on the history. I think there was, from the US government, there was like, you know, oh well, Captain America's no good. We need a new figurehead kind of thing. So it was like they pushed the idea of having a US agent, and it, like you say, it's sort of like kind of a second string Captain America, but he wasn't quite as good. I have a feeling that elements of like the Homelander character in The Boys came from the idea of like a US agent, but obviously he took on the invincibility of Superman, but with the kind of a bit more of a chip on his shoulder, which I think is where US agent maybe comes in. Not 100% certain. That's that's how I've always interpreted it without reading too much.
Which is facts that we're not quite sure, right?
Yeah, I didn't say they were facts. I'm just saying that's my understanding.
No. I know. I'm just saying, like, these are Rich's ideas, but we're not sure if they're right. But they sound good.
Yeah. But that's genuinely what I think, because I've got the first appearance. I think it's one of the Captain America books that was the first appearance of the first time US agent appeared in comic books. I've got that in my collection.
That's cool.
And I have read that, but I've only read that issue, and that's the interpretation that I've got, that it's he's sort of like Captain America, but with a bit of chip on his shoulder kind of thing. So
I think you're probably right, mate. I mean, like I said, I've never really read much of US Agent. I only slightly remember him being in a superhero team. I don't know whether it was the Thunderbolts or whether it was something else, but or actually, he might have been Alpha Flight, but he was definitely in a team that I read about. But I don't know much about him, so I'm not even going to try and say anything.
It's one of those ones where I think, again, I'm more interested in it with the backdrop of Falcon and the Winter Soldier and what that kind of, the interest that might bring to the book. And again, in the future, from a spec point of view, it is a first appearance of a new US agent. So if they keep rebranding US agents and Captain Americas and stuff, there's every possibility in the MCU this version might appear. So that's
absolutely,
my thought,
mate. I feel like any first appearance in Marvel is worth picking up just because of the fact that Disney own Marvel now, so they could do any TV show, any TV series, any cartoon, any character could make an appearance at any point. I mean, I think that's pretty cool, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it could go anywhere, couldn't it? The MCU at the moment, definitely.
Really good, mate. Really good. So my second notable is Wolverine issue 10, and we finally get to see Wolverine and Maverick team back up like they were back in Weapon X together. Maverick is one of my favorite X-Men characters. He's not really been in it that much, but I quite like him as a character. I think his outfit's cool. His mask is sick. So I'm going to pick this one up because I can't wait to see Wolverine and Maverick team back up. So that's why it's my notable this week. And also we actually have a variant of this on notquitemint.com, the Ryan Brown versions, and it's pretty cool. But like I said, the reason I want to get it is because it is a Wolverine and Maverick teaming back up, but it is only a notable. It hasn't made my top 3. So did you want to do your top 3s, Rich?
Yeah, I'll move on to my third pick. Definitely.
What are you going in at then?
So I'm going to start with Batman Black and White issue 3.
Ooh, okay, cool.
So starting with this, and again, it's just that distinction between when I choose my notables, it's all about that kind of they're just the ones that maybe aren't necessarily like the biggest like keys in the world, but for whatever reason on that particular week they kind of like grab me more than the other one. So as we move into like these, with this like third kind of like top pick, we were having a discussion about DC books, weren't we, before we started recording, and they're so hard with the keys to kind of like pick out how sort of important they are. Now with this one, Batman Black and White 3, the sort of description of it has changed a little bit in terms of its key value. So a couple of weeks ago, it was being described that it was going to be the new appearance of a new Robin, but in the sense of obviously our sort of Tim Fox next Batman kind of incarnation of Batman. So basically, what this is going to be a new sidekick appearance, and it will be the first appearance of what they're kind of saying is going to be the new Robin, but they're anticipating that it might be basically Tim Fox's sister Tiffany Fox as the new sidekick. Whether she's going to take up the mantle of being a Robin, not 100% certain, but certainly going to be the new sidekick. And it's just one of those ones where, again, I just think it might have just gone under the radar for a lot of people, because I see a lot of potential for the next Batman being a thing at some point in the future. You know, they've cancelled obviously the Yara Floor Wonder Woman TV series, which is a shame, because obviously the future state Wonder Woman has been really well received. The next Batman, maybe not quite so much. I think the writing has been hasn't been that happily received. Although Dark Detective, I know Tom, you've really enjoyed that. But
yeah.
So just in this universe, this sort of future state sort of universe, that is it canon? Isn't it canon? Could this actually be something that they explore? Because I think like the whole thing with the Joker War and the whole story behind the next Batman and what happens to Bruce Wayne, I think it would make such a good film series of sorts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think you're right, mate. I think doing that as a series, the whole he's lost his money and now someone else has got to take on the mantle. I think that would work so much better than trying to reincarnate and redo Bruce Wayne. I mean, I think it'd be worth changing the character just to start a new TV series or even a new film, and then because that kind of gives respect, I think, then to all the previous Batman that have already played him, that he doesn't need recasting as a new Bruce Wayne. Just do something new with it, like do a Tim Fox, or like get Tim Drake in, and or even like do a Red Hood movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, as I say, I think it's like that's where it is for me. And as I say, you know, these types of books I think miss a lot of people's radar, but it's one that I'll definitely be picking up and putting it away with the rest of my Batman Black Labels. Definitely
nice, very nice, mate. Very, very good third pick, I would say. So my third pick, and I'm gonna make a slight kind of apology because quite frankly, I have not been very nice about Scout Comics and their books for the last few months. I've not enjoyed them. I find them a little bit not to my taste, as it were. But my third pick this week, and I'm going to try and explain why, is By the Horns by Scout Comics, and it's written by Markin Naso, and the artwork is by Jason Murhur. I hope that's got right. Anyway, but basically, this is a 6-part miniseries about a woman whose husband gets trampled by unicorns. So her and her little sidekick decide that they're going to go on a unicorn hunting mission to slaughter all unicorns throughout the universe. And I quite like the idea of it, and it's got some really cool covers, and the artwork that I've seen some clippets of the artwork is stunning. So that's got me in hook, line, and sinker, but I don't know whether the story is going to be any good, but I like the idea of it. I kind of like the idea she's on this vengeful mission. She's been cast out from her village because she shouldn't be on a vengeful mission. Everyone's supposed to love unicorns. She doesn't, but she's like on this mission to wipe them out, essentially. So I kind of like that, and I think she's got a cool outfit. And she's got a massive sword, so why not?
Yeah, are you kind of like going down the Scotty Young Fairyland type of books? Yeah.
I think it might be a little bit like that. But I think because it's that kind of fantasy aspect to it, and she's kind of killing fantasy characters, I like that kind of thing. I'm excited for Boom's Magic the Gathering coming up in the future, and this kind of thing is right up my street. So I thought, I'll give it a go. So it did end up in my top 3, and I'm excited for it. I just hope it doesn't let me down, because we did read one Scout comic at the start of doing the whole of Not Quite Mint, and I just didn't enjoy it. It was horrible. I can't even remember. I want to say Backtrack, but that wasn't it. That was the one after that we read that, again, I didn't like that much. But it was one beforehand. But I can't remember what it was. I'll find out, and I'll pop it in the comments.
Early days.
early days. When we first started this almost a year and a bit ago.
Okay, mate. So that's yours.
My number 3, yeah.
Your number 3. So my number 2 is The Rise. So again, sort of sticking on a bit of a darker horror theme with this. This one is
all about love and fantasy and like unicorns and things, and you just come in with this like murdering horror.
Yeah, well, you know me too well. So, but yeah, so obviously, like this goes back to me being introduced to horror films by my dad at an age that never should have happened. Not in a neglectful way, but just like my dad was a big B movie fan, so he loved Creature from the Black Lagoon and all that kind of stuff, and so I watched a lot of that type of stuff, and that's like B movie, so it's not that scary. Do you know what I mean? It's like very PG, but it was horror in that age, and I just grew up with that. I was introduced to like obviously like zombie films and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and all this kind of thing. Now this book just jumped out at me because it's written by the son of George A. Romero. I've got to get it the right way around. So it is George C. Romero who is the writer of this. So his son has written it, and obviously Romero as a director, he did obviously your Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, all those classic zombie flicks that scared me to death, but I still watched them. And it's just, do you know what I mean? But anyway, this is like a prequel to the original Day of the Dead, I believe, or Dawn of the Dead, sorry. So and I'm just intrigued by that because you kind of, if you watch that film, you're kind of like thrown into the middle of something that's already happened, effectively. So this is, I think, about like the origins of how the zombie apocalypse begins in that universe, which I just imagine that, like, obviously George A. Romero would have spoke to his dad, George C. Romero, about this kind of stuff, but his dad never got a chance to tell the story.
What a really strange family meal time to have. Dad, how do you think that the zombie apocalypse came about in your movies? Oh, well, do you know what? Probably in a really sadistic, horrible way. All right. Yeah. What kind of details can you give me? I'm going to write about it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, basically like wrote the book for the zombie.
It's amazing, really.
So it's like, that's why it kind of intrigues me as a book. And I genuinely, again, I think it might miss a lot of people's radars and be one of those ones that, like, when people hear about it, they're like, they'll want to know. Yeah. They'll want to know themselves what happened before that kind of, zombie movie, the original zombie movie kind of thing, like began. They'll want to know. So I genuinely think this will be something that will get a bit of traction in the future. And I actually, when I asked John from Galactic Comics to get this for me, he had a time finding it. I'm the only person who's asked for it, so I don't anticipate it will be very very highly printed either.
That's cool though. I mean, what a cool thing to own. That actually has meaning to you from what you say at the start, that it goes back to stuff with your dad. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I again, wouldn't read this, but that's cool.
Yeah, my dad's not not a writer or anything like that. We never spoke about zombie apocalypses. We played golf, and that was pretty much like what we did. Go and watch Warsaw play football or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So very traditional, but like that image of like the godfather of the zombie films, like speaking to his son about this and then him taking on that mantle. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, mate. I think that's a really, like, what a wicked pick to have, and what a wicked reason to have picked that one, to be fair. What cool. That's really cool, mate.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you. That's cool. My second pick, spoiler alert, isn't The Rise. My second pick this week is Batman Dark Detective issue 4, the final one of the Dark Detective Future State. I've really enjoyed this run. I think it's been really good. Spoiler alert again, it's drawn by Dan Mora, so that's probably why I've really enjoyed it. But it is really, really good. I think if it hadn't have been part of the Future State kind of bubble where they've all been kind of under that banner, I think this would have been a really good Batman story to follow up from what happened in the Joker War. I don't think it necessarily needed to be under the Future State banner. I think it could have been a solid book on its own. But yeah, this issue, we get to see the first clash and final clash with the Dark Detective and Peacemaker. So that could be quite an interesting one to get into, because we've seen clippets of them fighting it out, but nothing strenuous. This is actually them going toe to toe in this issue, so that should be quite an interesting one to pick up. And we also get to find out who Peacemaker 1 is or might have been. So there you go.
So, as I say, yeah, I it's one of those ones that's bit of a sad fallout of my absence in December and at the start of the year, is that like there's only a couple of the Future State books that I've actually bothered reading. I've ended up buying quite a lot of them, and they're there, but like I just haven't had the sort of motivation to go back and read them. So it's only really the last couple of weeks that I've started reading bits and bobs, but Dark Detective is certainly one that I think I'd like to visit more so than the next Batman, because I've heard very mixed reviews for that.
Yeah, well, personally, I think in a rundown, if you wanted to read Future State but not be bothered so much about how they all intertwine with each other, I think the Wonder Woman, the Yara Floyd Wonder Woman, and the Dark Detective, and probably Teen Titans are probably the only ones, in my opinion, that I would reread. Everything else I've read and skipped by, and I'm not that bothered to go back and reread. But I would reread Dark Detective now that once it's fully completed, just to go back through it. And I already reread issue 1 and 2 of the Wonder Woman Yara Floyd, because I really liked that, and I liked that it was very similar to the Herculean kind of backstory sort of stuff. So I liked that. But yeah, there you go. There's my kind of future state picks.
Indeed. Well, my so that's your number 2. So my last one, my number 1 pick, it is actually another Future State book, and it is this Superman House of L book. And again,
mate, this is also my topic.
Oh, is it? So there you go. We've actually had a number 1 matchup, which is, I think, the first time we've had that, which is amazing. So there's quite a lot of first appearances in this, which I think is cool, because it's looking at the basically, again, moving quite far into the future, where you've got, I think, the son and daughter of John Kent. Basically, I think is the daughter is Ronan Kent, I think, and she's a Blue Lantern. And then you've got Rowan Kent, who's going to be the new Superman or something like that. So it's like it just sounds quite because we've sort of moved forward with like Superman and Metropolis and things like that. I think that happened obviously in Super Future State, and then we've got this, so it shows that fast progression. But we've got obviously first appearances there. We've got first appearance of the Red King as well.
King, yeah. I'm not sure if he's a villain or a good guy. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not too sure either. And there's also a Black Racer app as well, because wasn't the Black Racer a first appearance that came in?
Yes, I can't remember which one it was in, but I talked about it recently in one of the videos we've recently done. I think Black Racer is a Jack Kirby creation as well, but I'm not. I wouldn't quote me on that. That's just what I've heard.
Okay, cool. So I'm just really interested by this one. But again, I think where you've got that progression of the future of Superman or the Superman family, and you've got first appearances of sort of obviously the son and daughter of the future Superman. Anyway, it's like, for me, that sounds like something important that you'd want to read. You know what I mean? So that's why I picked it anyway.
I also think the rumors are, or what I've read is that the Rowan and Ronan are twins. So that's quite a significant element to their two characters. And I love the fact that this is just littered with first appearances. But like we were saying about the future of stuff, I can see them doing the future of Superman in a TV series. They might not do it with Batman, but they might do John Kent's story as a TV series, because they did Smallville. It was successful to a certain degree. If they did the next step from Smallville, it would be nice to see kind of John Kent's kind of progression, or even go further and do Rowan and Ronin. That'd be wicked.
It's quite interesting you say that, actually, because they are doing Superman and Lois Lane on the CW in America at the moment. So
Yes.
So that's part of the thing. Is that part of the Arrowverse though? That's part of the Arrowverse, I think, isn't it? So
possibly it's a completely different actor, isn't it, than what I'm used to?
Yeah, so it's not DC extended universe. It's not Henry Cavill at all. It's the Arrowverse version, I believe. So it's kind of like it would be interesting if they use that as a vehicle for them to have children. Ultimately, Jonathan Kent, and then in the future, where does that lead to?
Oh, do you know what? I would love to see them do the Super Sons. That'd be so cool with Damian and John. Their dynamic works so well in the books.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that'd be really good. That would be really cool as well. Like that kind of like banterful kind of kiddish thing. Definitely. There's so much scope. I mean, they just need to sort it out, don't they, DC, and stop doing all this dark stuff.
Yeah. They just need a little. I think. Hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed. I'm not putting a lot of faith in it, but hopefully, the new Suicide Squad being directed by James Gunn might just give them that little twist that they need to make it. Because that's, in all fairness, that's what made Guardians as good as it was the fact that he gave it that comical twist to it. Although it had a bit of a dark story, that comical twist that made it enjoyable. And I hope they do the same with Suicide Squad. But then, you don't know, do you?
No. So that's interesting. Both got our first picks out there, so that's pretty cool.
Get your first picks out for the lads.
Yeah. That's so. Anyway, on that note, hopefully that has been kind of quite useful and interesting for you guys. But thanks ever so much for watching. As always, guys, do smash the like button, hit subscribe, and obviously smash the old dingly bell so you don't miss any of our content. That'd be really cool.
Absolutely. And please follow us on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are very active. Head over to notquitemint.com and make sure that you're signed up to our mailing list, because you will get discounts from me and you get a chance to be part of giveaways and bits and bobs. So there's always that. There is a little video I'm going to pop at the end of this, just to remind you guys that there is something very special going on Attention Seeking Geek coming up for Red Nose Day. So stay tuned for that. And I'm just going to end with stay safe, everybody. Stay sexy. See ya.